Hello and welcome back to my craft room. It's time for today's quick and easy idea if you want to join the great big little art swap but you're not sure where to begin. I'm very hot in here and I can hardly think straight, so I don't know how well this is going to go. I haven't got long. I've got about 40 minutes before I need to go and get dinner sorted, so this is going to be definitely quick and easy. And the idea of this is just to make the point that you don't have to be a great artist. Nobody's expecting a masterpiece. This is just a bit of fun, and whatever level you're at, wherever you are in your art journey, you're still so welcome to join in. The idea is just to send a little bit of fun, a little bit what makes you happy to your swapsters. You can choose as many swapsters or as few as you like. If you just want to swap one little piece with one person, or you want to go mad like me and swap 50, it's totally up to you. You can swap just with people in your own country or all over the world. The idea is to create a 4-inch square or 10 centimetre square little piece of art mounted on a 12 centimetre or 4 3/4 inch to give it a little plain border. I shall be putting all mine into a special little swap book. And I'll be doing the same thing with my stitchery pieces. So we've got a stitchery, the great big little stitchery swap and the great big little art swap going on at the same time, and I'm doing both. So I'm very, very busy, but I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm absolutely buzzing with the response. So the easy idea for today, and before I forget to mention, I've just watched Susie Q's video. She's been making her swap squares, and she says she doesn't really do art, but she thought she'd give it a go, and I thought she did a fantastic job. It's brilliant. I won't say anything about it, spoil the surprise, but I'll put a link to Susie Q. She's called Susie Q Makes on here on YouTube. I'll put a link so you can find her video where she's making her squares, and again, a very doable idea. That's the thing, we just want an idea to get us going sometimes, don't we? Yesterday I showed you Rachel's piece that she sent me, the gorgeous doodling on watercolour, lovely vibrant watercolour background with lovely doodling on it. She does the most brilliant job, and she actually did a TikTok video about it, but I linked that in yesterday's video. So today I'm gonna do a bit of collage, and I've got a couple of different ideas. I do collage a lot. I love doing collage, and I save all sorts of collage fodder. I've got drawers and drawers full of it. And it might just be food packaging, it might be collage papers that I've printed off when I've done a workshop or something, it might be pieces of ephemera from old patterns, things like that. I keep all kinds of things, and one of the things I love to use for collage is magazines. Now, I don't buy magazines. I scrounged a whole pile off my hairdresser in the days when I used to go to a hairdresser. You can tell probably that I don't tend to bother doing that too much these days. But I did scrounge a whole pile of magazines, when they have them out on the tables and then they just throw them away once they're done with them, or recycle them. So that's kept me going, and I've still got them. And let me show you what I do with them. So I cut all the pieces. I go through the magazine. So I'll get a magazine like I have put one here too. So these are lovely ones. So the hair magazines that you can get from hairdressers are brilliant because you get lots of features and hair and stuff in them, so that's really good. But these home and garden type ones are really nice as well. I love, so you can use some of the lettering is great to use as well. Look at that, and you can use these for kind of art journal backgrounds. I mean, look at that fabulous art journal background, and you just like paint into it. And so I will work my way through these magazines and have a lovely quiet couple of hours just cutting out. I might even just cut out a big letter like that if I see any titles that appeal to me. Sometimes it might just be a patch of a certain pattern in a fabric that's been photographed, or a bit of brickwork like that is really nice, really handy actually. I'm wondering whether to just tear that out a minute. No, I'm going to use the pieces I've already got because I just want to show you quickly today. That's already been torn. I don't know what I've taken out of there. So that kind of thing, and the hair magazines with lots of faces and things like that are really good. And what I'll do is I'll work through and cut out. So I've cut out all of these eyes and things, and I just put a tiny dab of glue stick just to hold them in place on here. And you can see there's loads and loads of them. But it means that when I'm ready to do a bit of collage, I haven't got to start cutting up. There's a whole load ready. So when I'm in the mood for doing some cutting out, and I don't, like when you're feeling a bit creative but you don't know what to do with yourself, just take a magazine, go through it and cut out lots of fodder. So there's lots of eyes, mouths, there's different bodies there. Obviously all of this is going to be too big for my 4-inch squares. I'm just going to do a face, I think, just to show you. And then one of these things that you can see a few bits of there, these are shapes like, bits of, that's probably curtains. There might be dresses and things, and I'll cut them into just a skirt shape that I can use for the body of a little character. And you also get these printable, if you have a look on, I've had so long I don't even know it's available anymore, but if you go onto eBay and put in printable collage sheets, you'll see loads will come up. So if you haven't got magazines and you don't want to start hunting through, you usually only get charged like £2 or £3 for a printable collage sheet that you can use over and over again. So I think they're well worth the money. And they've got some of them like this, they've already put some extra colour and things on for you, so it's very easy then to cut those out. Just put a different pair of eyes on a different a mouse, put it on a background. In fact, I'll keep that out and do one of it to show you how quick and easy it is. And then for wording, I will either cut the words actually out of magazines, or I'll print them off on the computer, or I've got little rubber stamps. Like, you can get really little cheapy sets, like this was 99p in Hobbycraft a few years back. These ones I think John got me those and Tom got me these, so I don't know how much they paid. I believe Tom got this from AliExpress, so it won't have been a lot, but it's a lovely little wooden set. It's really nice. Look, I use this a lot. I will stamp it onto fabric as well, so if you use like a fairly a permanent ink like this, you can print it onto fabric with it as well, so that's quite good. Oh, I'm so hot, I'm sweating, this is awful. So that's the peoply bit, and I just kept these out. Why did I keep these out? This is where I'll keep things that will make bits of, just interesting bits of background. Some of these will be for really big pieces, they won't work for these little 4-inch squares. But yeah, bits of brickwork like that is handy. And words, just words. Now this was a printable, usually the printable collage sheets will come in a set with some kind of wordage as well. So these are lovely to use. In fact, I might keep them out as well, because they certainly would fit nicely on a 4-inch piece, wouldn't they? But these would just get out of magazines, so Future Hope would be a nice one to put on a little art piece, wouldn't it? Wicked, creative. Yeah, so I will also keep things like that. And then, oh yeah, and here, this is a printable collage sheet again. You put these on the top of the heads or turn them into bodies or whatever. You'd cut out things like bottles and jars and turn them into bodies, that sort of thing. These were out of hair magazines. It's nice to keep lots of bits of hair, just general sort of different skin tones and stuff. So these are whole heads here, and then we've got legs and feet. There's even a mermaid tail there, look. I don't need to worry about them for this because there isn't going to be room. Or things like wings, if I ever see wings, I always cut them out as well. For my background, I'm going to use up, this is acrylic paper, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to collage on it. It just needs to be sort of robust enough to take being glued onto and things. But I'm going to use these up because I've used them for swatching at some point, so it's kind of wasted. So I thought, well, I might as well use this because I'm going to be sticking paper over the top to create my background. So good chance to use that. And also to create the background. This time, I sometimes use all kinds of pattern papers. I'll use textured papers and all sorts. I want to keep these flat for posting them because some of these are going all over the world. So I've got to think about that. And I just thought I'd keep it simple. So I've just used, this is actually scrapbooking paper that's made to look like old book paper, but I mean, actual old book paper is also fine. This is actually old book paper. I'm not sure what that is. Some kind of junk mail, I think, probably. And then it's a bit of old sheet music. I've also got things like this, which you may or may not have. This is a good chance to use them if you've got them hoarded away. But I've got these little, I like them so much I accidentally bought the pack twice. So I've got two, and I just love them. I haven't done a lot with them, but I will do. And they were a Tim Holtz pack. And I think they call them paper dolls or something. And I just love them. Look at that. There we go. Look at her. How adorable. She must have been grown up around the same time as my mum, I reckon. because I recognise that hairstyle. Love these, absolutely love these. Now these would go on a 4-inch stitch, so I might consider, you know, using some of these. I mean, I could have her dancing against some music, couldn't I? That would be quite cute. And you could make it all kind of neutral colours and very vintagey looking like that, or you could do leery bright colours, which is more my kind of thing. I've also got another Tim Holtz pack. These, I think they called these passport photos or something, and I just clip them out and use them one at a time, but I absolutely love them. Look at these faces. And I find a lot of the Tim Holtz stuff seems, you know, he works with Ranger. I think it's Ranger that is the brand, but a lot of the Tim Holtz range can be quite expensive. But I always thought these were very reasonable for what you got. Yeah, love them, and they're really nice kind of quality stuff as well. So yeah, so I could use them. I could make little kind of montages with some kind of inspirational word and one of these little photos. So it's something I might consider doing for some of my art pieces. So my first step is to make myself a background. Well, my first step is to cut these to size, and what I've been doing is using up these A5 pads. So I've got a lot of them from having smaller boxes over the years. I don't tend to buy A5 because I find it usually a bit small to work on, but this is an ideal opportunity to use them up. And you could, if you just cut your 12cm square to start with. So here's some of this is the one that Tracy wants, I believe. That's my 10cm square or 4-inch square. And then the idea is to give it a border. So a 1cm border all around. In other words, this is a 12cm square and this is a 10cm square, which I'm going to mount on top of it. But you could, if you wanted to, cut your paper you're going to work on at 12cm, mask off that centimetre all around, do whatever you're going to do, and then do a big old tape peel, which we all love a tape peel, don't we? And you could do it that way, but I'm not doing it that way because I'm finding that I can get 2 10cm squares out of one A5 piece. I won't get 2 12cm squares out of it, so it makes more sense economically for me to cut 2 10cm squares out of this, do my art piece, and then mount it on cheap white card to give me that border, or black card, or whatever other colour. It doesn't have to be a white border, of course. So here we go. I'm going to cut my 10cm square. I'm going to be working with Distress inks today. Yesterday I used the Distress Oxide. Today I'm going to use the normal, the original Distress inks, which are more transparent and behave slightly differently together. And I still love these as well. They were my first love. Original Distress inks. So I could just make a colourful background with them, do a bit of stamping on it or whatever I want to do. I could stencil, you could use paint, you could use felt pens, whatever you want to do to create some kind of a colour in the background. But what I'm going to do first is use some of that paper to create a background. What have I done with it? I quite like the idea of having some of this musical note paper. Now for quickness today, I'm just going to use a glue stick. Probably if I was doing this for real, I'd be getting Mod Podge involved, but you've got to be careful with using things like Distress inks because they're water reactive, so they will react with the Mod Podge as well. Can be a nice effect, but you might not want it. So I'm just going to get this, I think probably the easiest way is I'm going to glue this. Like I said, I'm not going to do this very carefully for my purposes today. So I just want to show you quickly, really. So I could use some sort of dark colour ink, like this old this one I've had for so. Tell you what, these are such an investment. These to start with, you think, God, that's expensive, but they last for so long, and you can get refills for them. Just grunge that up a bit. I'm really not doing this very carefully at all. Oh, see, look, now it's serendipity. I'm going to do this little girl just to show you. Yeah, she would just fit on there, won't she? I'm going to. I like the idea of just putting live or live. Could be either way, couldn't it? I could decide that I want to have a bit more of something plain in the background, so let's just I love the torn edges as well. I'm really not doing this very carefully at all. You know, I would take a lot more care and make this look more interesting and stuff. But the idea is that you could build up a little montage like this, and, you know, if you prefer, make it all in vintagey colours like that. This would be a good little project for someone who's more into stitching but wants to do more arty things and wants to join in with the art swap, because it's kind of almost like the way you would put a little slow stitching piece together, but you're collaging it rather than stitching it. And there's no reason why you can't stitch, if your machine will do it, stitch onto a little collage piece as well. That is really rubbish. And she needs a bit of something dark behind her to set her off. But you kind of see where I'm going. I'm not going to spend any more time on that right now. Oh, these are my little dinky small blender brushes, a tiny equivalent of the ones I was using yesterday. Got these from Temu really cheap. And I want a colourful background for this one, I think. So I've got some of these distress inks. I love this Twisted Citron, it's one of my favourites. Peacock feathers. You can see these are my favourite. These are my favourite colours, can't you? Right, persimmon, mustard seed. They're beautiful colours. Let's have some yummy orange. So that's called Spiced Marmalade. There's a colour I love called Rusty Hinge as well. Just love these inks. And these brushes are lovely for blending, stenciling. I thought this little small size would be nice for stenciling, for just covering small areas of a stencil. I like that the brushes come in these different colour handles, so I can easily keep them. Keep this brush for the sort of orange and reds colour families, you know. I can't even speak properly anymore. I'm so hot I seriously can't think. I did promise I'd come up with an easy idea for every day this week, so I'm trying to stick to my promise, but it's a bit of a struggle at the moment in this heat. It's gotten really quite dark out there and quite overcast, but it's still oppressively hot and humid. Really hoping it will break and we'll get a big old storm tonight. And tomorrow we're actually going out. We're going to have lunch with some friends who have this lovely rooftop kind of terrace, so you can sit outside and look over the city, and that'll be really nice. I was planning to put a pretty dress on, which I don't do very often, and then we're walking around to a local restaurant. Really nice. Won't be so nice if it's pouring down with rain by then. So I really need it to rain now. Okay, so there's my lovely colourful background, and actually the camera's not doing a bad job, but it's more vivid in real life than it is on camera. And then if you want to, one of the fun things with these distress inks is just flicking with water, because they're water reactive and they stay water reactive even when they dry. That's worth remembering. I also got these really cheap stencils from Temu, so I thought I might try one of them in a minute as well. So if I now put this little girl over here, that'd be a lot more fun, wouldn't it? So even if I put back, where's that little torn off bit that I did? Lost it now. There it is. Okay, you can kind of see where it's going. Bit of a manky rag to just pick that colour up a bit. I don't know if you're able to see it on camera, but you get like interesting textures happening, and you can keep doing that over and over, and you can layer. But they will kind of activate each other, so you can only kind of layer to a point. Just cut out one of these just to show you how this might work. Let's go for this one. Right. And if you're not trying to do this in a rush, and make it so that people can see what you're up to on a camera, this is a really relaxing, absorbing process, which I really enjoy. Do I even need? I probably don't even need the body actually. Right, so now I'm just going to chose my pieces. I'm going to use my glue stick and I'm going to stick these down just quickly. There we go. And she just needs a little bit of hat to finish her off. And you can actually do this. I've done it with my own face as well. Printed off a picture of my own face and put different eyes in it, or just print it off in 2 different scales and then print the eyes and nose bigger, and you know, just to play around with the proportions. And then I might cut out a word, like I had that word live just now, but I've lost it. There it is. Something like that, or you could put I heart art on there. Several words you could print. You know, if you're using old music paper and stuff like this, if you save the blank bits, you can stamp on them with these kind of, you know, wooden stamps and black ink, and cut round to make your little words down there. I have got these words here. What about sing? Sing, as it's got music there. Let's see if I can get that sing. I think just to kind of illustrate what I'm talking about, I think that's probably enough. And then paint pens are quite nice to use over the top of these. We also quite like using like a water-soluble black pencil. I like these ink tints. This is actually charcoal grey, so I might. You could also do this with you could do this with any kind of pen and then wet it if you're quick enough. With some things you've got to be really, really quick though. I mean, you do it with Pitt pens, especially if you put something, if you put matte medium over the top or something. But I think probably it wants something more like, I might put a couple of sequins on there, or I don't know what. If I was taking the time, I would definitely do more to it. I sometimes quite like to do a black and white border around things. That would look really nice, and that might finish it off well. I might decide I want to put I want to just give it a little some little details like that. Sometimes I like to cut out a crown. That's always quite fun to do. I could still do that. I got these out because if you've got these kind of inks and things, or if you've just got paint pens will do it as well. So I decide I want a little bit of this metallic kind of pearlescent kind of paint pen on here. These are just the insides of like ribbon spools or thread bobbins. I keep anything like that because I love circles, and you can use them to stamp little shapes on for a bit more interest. Like that. I'm just trying to think of things that, you know, without, you know, if you haven't got a whole load of art stuff. You could use ink with this. This is just a piece off the, you know, the cardboard sleeve that you get when you get a hot cup of coffee. It's just that I've had this one for donkey's years. But in case you haven't got ink, I'm just going to try it with a Posca pen, and you can just add a little bit of something around the border like that. Sometimes it's nice just to do a little bit of that, just overlapping the image that you've and the background, just to sort of merge them together. You know, you can just go around things with your paint pen if you want, like this. I tend to prefer the sort of kind of pencil look, but this is sort of bolder, you know. And I found I'd probably do what I've done all along with all of these, and just do my black border. Or as I say, the little black and white check border is really pretty too. So I'm running out of time. This is taking me longer than I thought, but I don't want to keep you too long. I was going to also show an idea of doing not necessarily faces, but just colour these pieces of ephemera, or pieces that you cut from a magazine, or if you've got scrapbook papers left over, anything like that. Excuse me. And just cut little house shapes out. So just really rough house shapes, like this could be the roof. You can see how fast I'm doing, so I'm not taking any care at all. All I wanted to do here is just give you a little bit of an idea, really. So yeah, my little so I might make my little row of houses on there like that, with home sweet home could be the words, or you know, whatever. I don't know. It's just, as I say, it's just ideas. Oh, another thing I love to do, speaking of fluorescent, I've got such a mess to clean up in here in a minute, is to use paint pens over the top, just to add, you know, just to add little interesting marks and things, and just go over the image that I've put on, just to help to sort of meld it all together. So that's, yeah. Should we see if there's any chance at all of making a nice thumbnail out of this? Okay. Hopefully you can see through the messy disaster there and see what I'm getting at, see how much fun you could have with this idea. Either go and like download one of those printable collage sheets, or just ransack magazines, because this one was a magazine one. This is just an old music book. You could definitely experiment with using all kinds of colourful papers and stuff, gift wrap, tissue, you know, whatever you've got to make that colourful background, or just use whatever pens you got, and cut words out of magazines and have fun sort of making up, or just individual letters and have fun making up different messages for whoever you're going to send your square to. There's my thumbnail. Oh, everything always takes way longer than I think it's going to, and it is time for me. So that's taken me 40 minutes to make that mess, but you know, I'm off now. That's me for today. I'm going to be spending this evening stitching, because I'm getting well into my stitch pieces now. I will leave a link to Susie Q's video from today as well, so you can check that out. And if you haven't already, think about joining our free Discord community, because there is so much going on in there. People are posting pictures of their swaps as they come in. Also in the Facebook group as well. Obviously I'm keeping that going, and people are posting on there as well, but it's just a bit more happening in the Discord. Okay, I'm going to shut up now and I'm going to go. Enjoy the rest of your weekends. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you again soon.